Welcome back. This is episode number 356 of the Healthy Diabetic Podcast. Before we get started, please remember that nothing that you hear on this podcast should be considered medical advice or otherwise. Please always consult your medical team before making any changes to your diabetes management. Coach Ken joining me as always is my good friend and diabetic partner in crime, Graham Hubbard. We are two type 1s with over 50 years of lived diabetes experience. And we're hoping to inspire you to think differently about how you're managing your diabetes. So we talk about anything and everything diabetes on this show. We go live Mondays and Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can get on the lives, connect with us, ask us any diabetes question that you have. Are you struggling? You just want to say, hey, you want to communicate and talk to other people in the live. That's what these are for. And we'd love to have you in the live. So Graham, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm frustrated, bro. I'm frustrated. To be
Okay, talk to
honest,
me.
I'm gonna use that word because I don't wanna. I want to know that I've matured enough to not be mad because
But you're allowed to be mad.
mad is a choice. But mad is a choice, right? And I will choose not to
Yeah.
let it make me mad. And you'll know what this is because we texted about it last night. But we've all had that half a second, full second where your brain saw one thing and you got excited and you're like, what? And then you were like, oh, that's what that is. Last night I got hit with Lily. So it was, I'm scrolling on Twitter. So
Yeah.
it's like Lily, it says Lily at the top and my eyes go down and I see a vial. I just see a vial and the color of the vial is like pretty similar, like that purplish. And I'm like, damn, I'm like scrolling on like that. My initial thought was this fancy ad just came up like on my Twitter of all things and scrolling. And then I look again and it's then the ad became real and it was like, party atmosphere. Everybody's living GLP-1. And I'm like, damn. And I screenshotted it and I sent it to Ken and I go, this makes 100% of my life. I have never seen insulin advertised in that way, and that like, this is power, baby. This is power. And I used the word frustrated because of what I said to you in that moment and this is where I say anger is a choice. We have 50 years of combined experience living with diabetes. And we know that if you choose to let something anger you, it's probably not going to course correct. It's just going to keep on going and you're going to just it'll drive you crazy. But yeah. I said in that moment to Ken, how sad is it that we always had this? It just meant exercise plus nutrition plus insulin equals, for the vast majority of diabetics, right? We're talking type 2, we're talking obesity. I'm going to be honest. I'm not talking about the type 1s as much right here, but it's just a social issue that I have with this topic. So we had the whole equation. It was always there. We have all the things, but you got to do diet and exercise, diet and exercise. Now, just take it. Just take this. That's it. There's no more math. There used to be math. There is no more math. And I just...
And when you text me that, what did I say?
Well, you agreed with me or something? At this point, I was so flustered by it all. What did you...
No.
You sent me your... Ken sent me his program.
Hey, take a look at
throw my programs out. Quit bitching. No. I could look back, but whatever.
No, this is what I said. So I got the text pulled up, right?
Yeah.
So you said, I said, I know it's crazy, right? Because you sent me a picture of a screenshot, and you said never had insulin shown to me in this way, which is what you just said. And I basically texted you back and said, I know it's crazy. Insulin doesn't make them tons of money like GLP-1 does. And it's so true.
Yeah. And then what was my response?
So true.
And then what was my response? You could say it.
So then you said, insulin means medication plus exercise equals healthy. GLP-1 means medication equals healthy.
Yeah.
And let's
yeah. And
I want to,
but you
hold on. I want to just say this one thing, and then I want to hear what you have to say, because we're stating GLP-1 medication equals healthy. Well, that's not 100% accurate. Just because you're taking GLP-1 medication doesn't mean you're going to be healthy. You might look healthy. You might look healthier. You might feel healthier because of what the number on the scale says, but that doesn't mean you're actually healthier.
Well, your reply to I was a history major. My whole career has been like, I got a world map behind me. That's my thing. Looking back on how, why are we here? Like what, every action has a reaction. Like, what brought us, what got us here, what brought us to this point. And when you said what you said, then it kind of like it just like sunk into the chair I was sitting in. I was like, I can't grasp everything that is surrounding this, because more than anything, it hit me that it is a social issue. Like, it has become a social issue. And I mean that in the sense that,
What do you mean it's
yeah,
so
no, no,
you
no. And
what do you mean by it's a
let me
social
explain
issue?
that. And it's a great
Yeah, yeah.
question. It's a great question. This might sound judgmental. Come on. The way you take care of yourself dictates how productive you're going to be to your family, to life, to the obstacles that are set out before you. So if you're not taking care of yourself and your health, that's going to come back to your home, it could affect,
Mhm.
dude, it could affect your work. It could affect your performance. It could affect your attitude. It could affect everything happening. And then it doesn't course correct you. You have to make
Mhm.
a decision. And I had the most, and I never divulge too much, but I have the best conversations with my wife because we're both working from home and all I do is talk and want to hear my own voice. But we together came up with a
This
really
is a very true statement,
we
people.
came we actually, this is very funny that we never thought of it this way, but we kind of came together up with the same point. Like, is it a chicken or the egg? People always say that, is it a chicken or the egg? And I said, dude, an egg sits there and waits. A chicken takes action. And to me,
Mhm.
the only thing that's been fed to me is take action. So like, I have this like hyper sensed belief of, oh, obviously type, like, it will die if we don't take action. But that's where I get a little frustrated at it. Just society. And that's where I say it's becoming a social and a societal issue, where you are right about what you said, but I make the joke every day. I'm in the gym every day. I don't, for the amount of people that live in this world, there should be a lot more damn people in the gym. And you know that true, bro. You should be the richest man in the
Yeah,
world, bro. And it's not.
yeah.
And it's, and I don't know. It's a much, of course, it's a social issue now, because these people are now they're cashing in, and now it's a little confusing. It's like, I was just complimenting Lily, and I do love Lily, but like I said, I've never seen man, everybody's going to see it. Everybody now scrolls on whatever, and it's one of the brands. It's Lily's version, whatever it is.
Mhm.
No, and like I said, and another great question why it's a social issue is the rebound effect this is all going to have. And it's what all the doctors and the MDs are saying. Like, this is a great tool, just like AI. This is a great tool to get you where you need to go, but you're going to have a decision. You're either going to stay on the medication, or you're going to course correct, and you're going to get active, and that's it.
Yeah, but just but you gotta remember.
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead, go
Another,
ahead.
and this will be my last point because I could just do this all day. It is a social issue because it has caused a division. Somewhere along the way, it's not nice to call people fat anymore. Somewhere along the way, drug addict. Sorry to be judgmental. No, no, no. I don't have a drug problem. I'm an addict. Like like we lost the ability to just be honest with people and hold people accountable, to the point that everybody will tell you along the way, no, it's all good, now you just got a pill, just take this, you're fucking fine. I just don't like that. There's no accountability, there's no action. Like, it's like I said, it be the chicken or the egg. You want to sit there and wait, or do you want to do something about it? And I know that's a lot. But like I just think, like I said, I could be a positive. I think I
Um,
could be a. I do think the thing is like, you decide what is going to be your outlet though for it. Like, are you going to choose to be?
what is hu
Hold on,
th th
real quick, real
I
quick.
want I want all of us, not just you, Grant, but I want all of us to think about this question, because I think that this question for me makes all of it so like, I understand it. Even from the outside, not like even if I'm someone who doesn't really understand the issue or even understand the benefit.
Hmm.
I think this one question does everything for me. What is the one thing that humanity wants in their life? Ease of access, it to be super simple, not have to work hard at it.
Are you asking?
What
That's
is
your
what
answer?
no, this is my
Oh,
answer.
okay.
So this is what I believe most of humanity wants. There's obviously the people that like yourself who just that you want to take action, you don't mind the hard work, like you're going to do the hard work. There's definitely those people, but that's a small percentage of the population. I would argue that most of the population want ease of access, they want to be simple, and they don't want to work hard. Okay? So if that is the case, and I'm hypothesizing, if that is the case, this medication checks all three of those boxes for humanity. For the people who don't want to go to the gym, for the people who are self-conscious about going to the gym, for the people who don't care about eating food that they love and love them back, for the people that don't care about sleep, for the people that don't want to have hydration, to be super hydrated, for the people that don't want to live a really good, healthy life. So that for me, that it puts it all in perspective. I don't think it's societal. It is a societal problem. What it has become is a supply and demand problem. That is literally what GLP-1 has become, because we see the need to help these individuals, and we believe the pharmaceutical companies, maybe even you can put the government in this. We believe that it's easier to give someone a pill, give someone a pen with GLP-1 to help them regulate hormones than actually teaching them how to think, look, and eat better, how to actually go to the
But
gym,
again,
how
that's
to
another social
actually
issue.
change their
And there's too many
behaviors.
people. There's too many
It,
people at the doctor. Even I thought about that. Like, you do got to give people credit sometimes. Hold on, hey, I want to blow your mind with a question that I thought about. You know,
okay.
it used to be like a back shelf issue after they mentioned the weight loss with the this is curing alcoholism. Let's just take alcoholism. If this came out as
Mhm.
a cure alcoholism pill and then they found out that it's helping people lose weight, would our approach be completely different to this?
No,
You think you
because it
dude,
would then
I would be
become it wouldn't become a alcohol
it'd be
cure.
a one
It would become a weight loss.
this would be a
It would do
180.
the same exact
Can I tell
thing.
you though, I will say,
It would do the same exact thing.
this would be a 180 for me. I'd feel completely different.
Why?
I just think
What is the difference between us saying
I
that you
know.
can lose weight on it,
I
and
know.
it's a hormonal replacement? It's really a hormonal, because that's what it is. It's a hormonal replacement therapy drug. That's exactly what it is. What is the difference between saying that and saying, hey, we can cure alcoholism? It's still going to do the same exact thing,
Yeah.
because as soon as you attach something that everybody wants, because most people are unhealthy and they don't have to work hard, they don't have to do those three things that we were talking about. This has become the miracle. It really has. Not for
Okay.
everyone, but for a lot of people, it's become
I
the
gotta think
miracle,
hard
because I
about this
don't have
then.
to work as hard. I don't have to work as hard to lose
And
20, 40, 60, 100 plus pounds
okay. And
than if I wasn't on this
yeah,
therapy.
and like in May of 2026, right now, you and we both agree on that. We definitely both agree on that. Um, as I said, the social issue combination, I do think that there are things that just fall prey to people's weaknesses that are so easy to get and so easy to do. Because the other one with this is tobacco. Like, it's people aren't smoking. I'm pretty. Those are, I think, are the two big things. It's alcohol and tobacco. But I don't know. I think again, it's so easy to access those things. If you introduce this to me as a solution to that, I'd be like, dude, that's pretty sweet. Like, that's pretty amazing. And then we eased into the weight loss, because this is also, by the way, we're both coming off and very opinionated, and I think that's maybe the point of this, and we're being honest, and that's what people want to hear. You know, there are people that are, well, there's definitely people that are working for it, but I don't think, I really have never truly believed that anybody's genuinely happy when they, like, I was at Disney this weekend, not to talk shit, but like people are enormous, bro, like enormous. And again, that's like not nice to say. Like, it doesn't compute when I see it in my brain. And they just really, I saw a guy. He just looks like he was in a lot of pain. And I was like, I couldn't guess his age if you gave me $1,000,000. I just, I don't see his face. I'm just seeing like a guy that has a ton of extra weight and everything. And he's just sweating profusely, like trying to have fun. So I get it. Like,
But
that's a
this, but
social, that's
that's,
a part
but
of,
that's,
that's a, people are addicted to you talk about it. You know this. Eating releases the same, is it hormones?
dopamine,
Yeah. Is
dopamine.
that a hormone?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. Yeah.
Whatever. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? This is why, again, weight loss as a whole is a major
It
social
is, but
issue.
it is a social issue because it's such a problem. Because we, as it,
No, 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 no,
yes,
no,
it's a
no, no,
social
no, no,
issue.
no. It's because somewhere along the way, people said it's okay.
No,
It's okay
no,
to be
no, no,
heavy.
no,
It's okay
no,
to be fat.
no,
It's
dude,
okay not to do
no,
that.
no. Y-
Yeah,
If you go ask 10
100%.
doctors,
You
no,
admit
I
to
don't.
it.
If you go ask 10 doctors, 10 cardiac doctors, 10 gastro doctors, 10 Like, go ask 10 doctors if they think it's okay for someone to be fat and overweight. It's not. It's not okay. But what society has done is it has shaped everything
The
not
internet.
because of the weight. It has shaped everything because 70% of America is overweight and unhealthy. So instead of what you're saying, go to these individuals and say, what the fuck are you doing? Stop being unhealthy. Let's start educating and
Yeah.
learning and changing behavior through food, exercise, sleep, hydration, and mental health. Let's start changing behaviors. And so we don't have to be so unhealthy. So instead of saying that to people, now doctors don't even have to have the conversation, which again, going back to humanity, not wanting things to be difficult for the past 50, 100 plus years, doctors have been telling people you need to lose weight. If you don't lose weight, then something bad's going to happen. And what happens in 5, 10 years? Now this person's have a heart attack. Now this person's having, some organs replaced. Now kidneys are falling apart.
Yeah.
So it's not
Totally.
that the doctors aren't saying it. It's now that they have an option to not have to continue to say it. They can just say, oh yeah, you need to lose 20, 30 plus pounds. Sure. Go on this GLP-1 because I really don't have the time or the capacity or the resources to help you actually learn how to lose weight the right way. And no one else is going to teach you because your insurance doesn't pay for you to actually go see a dietitian for 2 or 3 days a week virtually. Your insurance doesn't pay for you to actually go through psychology appointments that's going to help you overcome your behavioral challenges that are making you eat excessively and eat bad food. I don't have the time and energy to help you with this specific thing. Also, because me as the physician, I don't know shit about nutrition. So I'm supposed to help you. I'm going to help you with this medication because this medication, we're just going to uptick, downtick it over the next 3 or 4 months or over the next 3 to 6 months and try to get the dosage right so you can actually start losing weight. But then I don't have to deal with trying to teach you how to eat better. And for some of them, and also I can get a kickback. That's what this has become. It is not. And then the other problem with it, and we've talked about this in previous episodes, because I think we've been on this GLP-1 thing for the past 2 or 3 episodes. The other problem is that we're not actually teaching people what this drug even actually is. People are going into their doctor and saying, hey, doc, I want to go on a GLP-1 because I'm going to lose weight. Instead of the doctor saying, well, okay, cool, but that's actually an added bonus to you being on this medication. Do you actually know what this thing actually does? It's a hormonal replacement supplementation therapeutic medication. It's just really a happy accident that it can reconnect communication pathways from GLP-1 to amylin, which is your hunger hormone. Like, so we're not educating people on what it actually does, what the ramifications are. I mean, maybe doctors are having that conversation like of the ramifications, but the amount and the frequency that these things are going out to everyone, regardless of should you be on it or not, that's a problem. That's the main problem, I think, because there's not the education piece to, okay, I can put you on a GLP-1, but we also have to start learning how to change behavior. Because at the end of the day, if you're just taking a GLP-1 and you're not changing actual behavior of how you actually got to this point, you're going to be stuck on this thing forever, which also means you're going to be in a much higher risk of complications from it. Because there are ridiculous, unreal side effects for some people. Not for everyone, but for some people. So,
All right, give me a second because you're saying a lot. You're gonna make me
go.
think of, dude.
Go.
Well, hold on, because you say too much. Because then I can't even say
Yeah,
anything.
you're good.
And I
You're
got
good.
like
Go.
1,000 points to say. I'm gonna bring 2 points. I gotta stay on top of it because I'm already gonna lose it. I want to bring 2 of your points together. No, here, listen. I know it. I know it now. I'm gonna bring 2 of your points together. We are on a GLP kick because everything is on hyper speed. It's in the hyper highway right now with this, like, I was hearing today about AI's impact on the next, we really don't know, but it's probably something like the next 12 months on the stock market. And because there's going to be a lot of layoffs, right? And AI was always like everything else, this like, this little threat, but no, like it's happening immediately overnight. It is happening right now. And it's fasting. Like I had a funny thought that like every single business by now has had a meeting where all the older people are like, we gotta figure out this AI thing. Like, and I don't think anything has ever hit society like that
Yeah.
so quickly. So I make that point to say this. We brought up serotonin. uh the receptors, that the happy receptors, the boom, the bam. People say, everything changed with, I think it was probably like, it was like gaming and TV, not gaming, but like it was like consoles and then TV, and then like the burst of Hollywood and in the 90s and TV shows, and then it was the internet, and it was uh more and more things, not only that you're doing sitting down, but things just started
Mhm.
moving quicker. As Ken talks, my always, again, my I always say, as a history major, I laugh like, would we know any of this if the internet didn't exist, or do we just know about it now
Well, the
because the
internet, yeah,
internet
the
it
internet was the
exists, right?
beginning
And
piece
like,
of this. Yeah.
hold on, but this is even better then. So then I could. So my point is I do. We will 100% look back on this generation, and that's what's going to be the stimulus generation. Like it was. We have been stimulated to the point where you could be addicted to God knows what, and it kind of even makes sense in a way. We're like, well, yeah, look at X, Y, and Z, right? But the last thing you said, the last point that I would make, though, as the earliest memory, WNCI in Columbus, 97.9. What is the number one killer? And what has it always
Heart
been?
disease.
Yeah, yeah. It always was, it always has been, and it always will be until we do so. And like, I'll hear people, it'll come up in the news. Oh, what is the number one killer? Like, do you know? Like, nobody ever knows what it is. And then you go back and you're like, that's what it's always been. It's always been that, so whether and I have a question for you. What did obesity, did the term obese mean something different in the 90s? Like, has like the term obesity completely shaped into something different now because of like, and like, they say people are bigger than they've ever before. Are they? Like,
Yeah.
is that fact? Like,
I
I
think
know
it's
it sounds
fact.
like an
I think
ignorant
it's very much
question, but
fact. Again, that's my own personal opinion. I don't have like the stats
again,
on it.
are we just seeing more of it? Do we just see
I
more
think
of it
it's
because it's
yeah.
like, there's like TLC
I
shows
think
about
there's a lot.
it
I think
and
there's a
it's on
lot
the
of things,
internet?
right? I think the internet is probably the number one driver. Internet, social media. So you're going to see it more. Internet, social media from when we were kids, when we were early
Okay.
adults, early teenagers. The internet didn't really exist. It was at its very infancy. So if we're talking about obesity, you only knew about obesity from the people that were in your general area, in your town.
Yeah.
You didn't
Like
know
everything else,
obesity
right?
from across the planet, across the pond,
Hmm.
other side of the country. You didn't know.
Hmm.
Now you have a direct line of sight to everything. Someone, we'll just say person, male or female, post something on the internet and they could get a bunch of judgment about how they look, how they're presenting themselves, how they're speaking, how they look, what their weight is. You can get all that stuff in 5 seconds. That's never been the case ever in the history of humanity. So I think that's one piece of it. I would say it's probably the biggest driving force of that word in terms of obesity. Now, to answer your question about
Hmm.
are we actually more obese? I would say 100% yes. And here's why. The influx of how food is processed, how it's actually made, whether it's they're taking wheat, extracting things, putting it in a processing field or processing plant, adding more things to it, and then putting it on the shelves, then you eat it, whether it's candies, whether it's, I mean, you talk about whatever you want that's ultra processed, that's driving metabolic dysfunction, driving, this unhealthy realm that we live in today. You talk about Starbucks. Every single day that I drive by a Starbucks, a McDonald's, the line at 7 o'clock in the morning, 6:30 in the morning, the line is a mile long because everyone's trying to get their fix on their coffee. When you can easily make black coffee that's way more healthier for you, even if it's not organic, you can just make coffee at the house with a little bit of creamer or whatever you want to do with it. It's going to be way more healthy than going to Starbucks and getting a latte with all this added extra sugar. That's the problem. The ease of access to everything that is unhealthy is the problem. And the powers that be, the people that are in charge that have direct opportunity to change that shit, I think we're starting to see a very slow shift in it. Hopefully that doesn't lose steam, but that piece is the thing that's driving everything because when you think of this in terms of where we were 20 years ago compared to now, I believe it's worse because of the ease of access to everything. Not just the food, but the internet, the things that impair our mental health. The fact that if I feel insecure about my weight, if I feel insecure about my looks, if I have mental health issues for whatever reason, I'm going to go on social media. I'm going to see all these other people that are posting these amazing pictures that are probably AI driven too, or have these crazy filters on them, aren't actually real pictures. And I'll have a perceived notion on what I should actually look like. Where it used to be before social media and internet, the only way you got that was from your nighttime sitcom television show that had this really small, thin person. That was the only way you got that stuff. Now you have it 24/7 every single day. That's the problem.
Go back to something I said earlier because I see it. I see it all the time. And it's just like everything else we're talking. It's a tool. Your body is a tool, right? So like, it doesn't make sense to have of every magazine, everywhere you look, every billboard is a skinny girl,
Well, it's not
skinny
anymore
girl,
though.
skinny
But
girl.
that's
I'm
not
not
the case
like,
anymore.
hold on. This is a very important that I do want to make because people have told me like family members like, dude, you're always like fat shaming. I'm not fat shaming. It's just I want to be very clear on what I want to say. That is not, that is not the image of health. The image of health is having so much physical activity that you have a understanding of your body, that you have a grasp on what your healthy weight is, what you're comfortable at, right? So like, and it fluctuates. It's like one reason why people say like, you shouldn't weigh yourself at ever all the time because your weight should fluctuate, dude. It's going to fluctuate. You're going to be training different muscles harder in a season, or you're training for a marathon or whatever. The beauty in what I just always wanted to harp is again, it's just being comfortable with your body weight, if that makes sense. Like, you learn that as a wrestler. Like, we're down on the mat, like how wrestlers work out. You walk to the end of the mat and you start doing somersaults. Like, the opening exercise is somersaults. Like you're a kid, somersaults. Then you bear crawl back, and then you're just out wiggling the body, like, and you're just, and in my opinion, the healthiest athletes in the world are gymnasts, like the people that have control of their body and their weight. So again, and I see it all the time here. I do not see anybody. I mean, there are some skinny girls, but I think they're skinny. There's nobody skinny at my gym, but everybody's damn good looking because they're working for it and they're working hard. But that to me is the image of it. Is go back to my analogy, be the chicken or the egg. It's the people taking the action, and like, but if you're not taking action and you're like, I grew a beard, I look great. I'm like, no, you grew a beard because you're fat under your fucking beard and it's sloppy. By the way, I hate beard. I'm gonna take two opinions. I'm gonna do a hot take. I hate two things that I hate more than ever: golf and beards.
Two things that are like up and coming.
I always say golf.
The two things that are up and coming.
I always say golf. Your only handicap is your ability to realize that you're an idiot for spending your weekend away from like fun things.
But golf is
your
fun,
only handicap
man.
is your personality.
Golf is freaking fun.
You hear what I said? Remember this. This is I said to my friends. Golf is a bunch of guys that came together and they made up the word handicap to hit a little white ball with a stick. That is the most clown. There's nothing team oriented about it. It's individualism.
What do you think gymnastics is? What do you think track is?
Augusta just allow women? Augusta just allowed like women and blacks like recently. Like it is. What do you mean? Bro, there is name one individual
sport. Tennis.
Yeah. Okay. Tennis is awesome though. Tennis
Gymnastics.
is like it's not
gymnastics.
Track
is an individual.
No, that's team. No, team points.
Track is track
points.
Unless you are doing a relay, track is an individual sport. Yes, you get team. Yes, you.
No,
yes.
It's not.
What do you think you're doing in the 100, the 200?
You're not competing. You're not competing for anything. If everybody else isn't doing their part, that's called a team sport.
No. Does the whole entire team go to regionals or states? No. Individuals go. Yes.
Really?
Individuals go to regionals or state.
Well, I guess
gymnastics is the same thing.
I guess so. It's like a head-to-head. But then based on your time, you could qualify for like individual.
Well, the 4x.
Is that what you're saying? Like during the season, two teams go against each other?
Yeah, you have a dual meet. Yeah, you got a dual meet, or you got a tri meet or whatever. But it doesn't matter who's at that meet because once you get to what the playoffs are in track, once you get to regionals and semis and nationals and all the things, state. Once you get to all that stuff, it's you against the world. It's not you. It's not your team.
Okay. Answer me this. and I'm saying this from a male perspective. Has a woman ever come home? Has a man ever come home and the woman's like, God, you must golf so well. It's 6 p.m. and you're drunk on a Saturday and I've been home and oh man, your golf game. Tell me, how did you shoot on 17? Oh God, that is so sexy. If that is quite literally never happened and the opposite happens every single time,
You're
like, again, people
dude,
need to know
you're
when to course
no,
correct.
no.
Like, it is the most clown
It's
thing you
not a
could do.
clown thing because think about this. Why are we talking about this? Think about this. No,
Well, I
hold
got
on.
another great argument. I got another great
argue
argument.
this because you're talking about a sport that I actually like. Okay, so
Do you really like?
to
Wait,
play,
to
I don't
watch it
wanna
or to play it?
watch golf. Unless I'm going
Mhm.
live, I'm not gonna go watch golf on TV. I'm not that big of a golfer.
Okay.
So think about
I
this.
hate golf,
Think
but I'll
about
watch
how
it.
think about how golf helps a male. Just talk about males right now. This is probably the same thing for the
God,
females.
he's gonna make a point that I can't
We're just
argue.
talking about males right now because we are two males. Think about what that type of competition
Activity. Yeah.
activity,
Good point.
like what
Good
what
point.
do you think that does for the male psyche?
No, I know. It's
Like
bonding.
that's the
I know.
first thing. The second thing is the challenge.
You're right.
Males want a challenge.
Yeah, I don't agree with that though. I
Males
don't
want a
agree with that.
challenge in their life.
The-
And it is
Yeah.
fucking that
I think that's the silliest
but
challenge.
it's not about that specific challenge. It's about the concept of a challenge.
Agreed.
Okay, that's what it's
Agreed.
about. It's about the
Agreed.
concept
Agreed.
of a challenge. And then you said it earlier. Another thing is camaraderie.
Yeah.
Ladies
No, I
have
know.
girls' night all the time. Guys don't really have guys' nights because that's just not something that, especially with a family. For me, like I just don't do that. I'm a bunch of guys that I go out and just start drinking with, or go party with, or go do something with. Golf, just like other activity sports, basketball, soccer, whatever you want to call it, those become bonding moments for males. Golf is a huge bonding moment. And you could say the same thing for females. Lots of females love to play golf. Lots of females love to play tennis. Like it is a bonding thing. And it is dramatically helping people, especially males, with checking off those boxes that they're not getting anywhere else in their life. And we haven't even talked about the actual sport yet. So you're sitting here ragging on
Can I tell you
something
fun-
that, one, you're probably ragging on it because you suck at golf, but
No, I can rip a ball.
I can rip a
bro.
ball too, but can you rip a ball and
I've
then be
actually,
down the
ironically-
fairway and then hit another one onto the green and then one or two putt into the hole? I can't, but I still love golf.
Ironically, a lot of my opinions come from I've had many male figures that are still in my life that I love to, that are family, or I look at that as family. That golf has been a very major part of their life.
It's
and
just another hobby.
I had a different opinion. Hold on.
Can we move on? Let's
What?
move on from this. Let's move on.
What did you say? No, I have to say this. I do have to tell one story because I keep bringing up my history, being a history major. And when I left, I had a history teacher that made like a really big impact in my life going into college. And I was declared like history as my major, and I kept through it. But he was the person that said, like, ask questions. And I'll never forget, my dad was a Vietnam vet, drafted, and he was more hostile about it. But one time I asked him his advice for life, and that's kind of what it was too. Like, ask questions, just ask questions, or because the questions don't mean like just asking a question is asking a question, right? But you do eventually form opinions because you're having conversations with people and you're asking questions. And I had an uncle in my life who meant a lot to me. He was like, and he still is alive. He's about to turn 80. I love this guy to death. And I went to visit him in upstate New York. He's from, they live in like around Syracuse, very close to Syracuse area. And he drove me to the neighborhood golf course. And he's like, man, golf, the greatest game in the world. And I was like in college at the time. And it was the first time in my life where I was like, I genuinely I could not disagree more. And it changed nothing about our relationship. Like, I started just making fun of him for it. And it was always like, it was like a really important time for me. Like, not everybody's going to agree. Not everybody's going to see it the same. It's kind of this is funny to bring this up. It's the whole essence of what I said today. It's like, anger is a choice, right? You could let it piss you off, or you could text, like, you should see what I texted my friends yesterday, like, while whatever was going on, the PGA Championship. But it was just like, it made me happy. I was like, like, we don't have to agree. We don't have to agree on this, but yeah, couldn't disagree with you more, bro. Couldn't disagree with you more, man. wouldn't it make you happy as a coach? Like, why don't people just keep like playing soccer or keep running or keep
Dude,
playing
do you know
football?
how
Like,
good golf
why
is for
do
your
something that's
physical well,
wait, wait,
like
wait.
for your physical mobility?
Is it?
Dude,
Is it though?
dude, it
Is
is.
it?
You have to walk the whole. If
Is it
it,
not? Is it another social problem? Is it another social problem that men go there and get
no, because that's
wasted?
part of the
And it
game. That's
seems to
part of the
me it's like
game, man.
fat
It's the same
dude.
thing. It's part of the game. It's
You're like a drug. You're like an addict that
no,
has
it's
an.
not,
It's like
dude.
it
Like,
doesn't make
and not,
sense to me.
and remember, not every single person does that. Not every single person goes and hits golf balls or plays 9 holes or 18 holes and just gets sloshed. Those are the guys that don't care about the game. They're going for fun because golf can also be that. Just like laser tag can be that. Freaking going to the like a Ninja Warrior gym could be that. Just like going to the gym for some people is that. Like just fun.
Okay. All right.
It,
Whatever.
like
You got
you have to take your perspective out of it and think about this as like, what does that actually do for the human body? And it goes back to what we always talk about with diabetes. What is the most important
activity,
thing? What are the most
moving.
important things? One of the most important things for someone to improve their insulin sensitivity. Move, be active.
Yeah, I know.
Golf is no different. It is no different. Soccer, you're doing this.
It's
It's really
expensive.
expensive.
That doesn't help.
It's
It
a
doesn't help
very
your. It
expensive
doesn't help your
hobby.
world.
But that's not for
Yeah, it's
me
another thing.
to tell people like, it's too expensive or why the fuck you doing that? Like that's stupid. Like, no. They're moving. They're getting out and moving. If you're getting sloshed, whatever. Like I wouldn't do that. That's not something that would be a priority to me, is to go out with my buddies and just drink all day long and play 18 holes or even 24, 36 holes. That's not something that would excite me.
Mhm,
But people do that because it's part of their
mhm.
social aspect of what they want to do in life. Cool. No problem. But at the end of the day, when we're talking about diabetes, because this is a diabetes show, golf is 100% a great physical thing to get into. It's not gonna, sometimes it might raise your heart rate a little bit. If it's super hot outside and you're walking and carrying your bag and you're not riding a cart, that's gonna add a component to it. You sitting there having to rotate, you have to engage your core and contract your core and get into rotation and actually go through and follow through, whether you're using your shoulders, your hips, or your core, all of it. Like there are some very specific, amazing things that the golf swing is gonna have for the human body, way more than like just as much or maybe even more as going and playing basketball, going and running and around and playing soccer. It is a physical demanding, and I would say even more psychologically demanding sport than most other sports. It is a fantastic sport, a freaking fantastic sport.
Can I make you
I
a
don't like cricket.
I'll make you
I
a
hate
bet right
cricket.
now.
I don't like cricket,
Listen,
but I
hey,
wouldn't say that cricket
I'll
is
put
like the worst thing to do in the whole entire world because it's a demanding sport.
hey, $100 right now. I will immediately
Okay.
send it to you. What were you talking about before we started talking about
GLP-1.
golf? No. What specific point were you saying, or what was I saying?
What do you mean?
Do you remember at all? Do you remember
At
at
the
all
at the
what point we
beginning
were
of
making?
this,
Before,
when
yeah,
you started
yeah,
ragging
$100.
on golf?
Yeah, pull us back
I
to
don't
course.
remember. It's
Can
been
you?
too long, dude. I don't freaking remember.
That's
I
what I
don't
said.
remember. Like,
All right, I
we
want to.
got
We
like
got. Hold on.
15
We got
minutes.
50.
Let's
Hold on.
repurpose here.
Let's do this. Actually, I know exactly. Hold on. I know exactly what I want to ask you. This will be so much fun, I
Yeah.
think, for the audience.
Hopefully they're
Late
still
Friday
tuning
night,
into this episode.
late Friday. No, like who wouldn't want to hear these opinions?
I don't know if I would.
late late Friday night, my daughter jumped on, and
Jumped on
I
golf?
had
What?
left my no. She jumped on Riverside. She
Oh,
jumped on
yeah.
She jumped into our
Yeah.
studio. We went live, and she knew what she was doing and knew what it's about and knows what we do. But she's talking and I'm asking her questions and she's saying, and I thought it was interesting because people will say to like AI, like explain to me like I'm a child. Like you ever heard
Oh,
people
yeah.
do that? Like explain to me child coding, something like that, right?
Yeah.
What would your what like maybe how much of it did you hear and how much like what would your girls say? What would a child's approach, like what's a child's mindset to seeing you doing what you're
Yeah,
doing?
so this is
Like
exactly what my girls would say. Daddy has to check his blood sugar on his phone or he makes himself bleed and he has to take shots.
okay.
He has to take insulin for his diabetes. That's exactly what they say. Diabetes.
Diabetes?
They know it's diabetes, but they say diabetes for fun.
Do they understand that, like, all the things that you're
No,
eating and
they don't understand
you
all
like,
that stuff.
do
They
they
don't
like
understand the minutia of everything. They just see that
okay.
on the surface.
Don't you think when you're, like, talking to a child, though, you always think, "Well, that simplifies everything, though,"
Well, not
right?
always.
So,
Sometimes I
you
try to
know
explain things to them, and it's way too high level for them.
you mean
Just
about
about
diabetes or about
anything.
life
Just
or
about
a
anything.
about
Or it's like you're explaining it to them very simplistically, and because they don't actually want to hear what you have to say, because you're basically telling them in the moment that they're wrong,
God,
that it goes in
that's
one ear
such
and
a
out
good
the other, and they
hmm.
don't wanna listen. And then they just keep asking, like my oldest, Amelia, sometimes she does it to be funny, but other times she's doing it seriously. She'll always ask why, even though I just explained it to her. I just literally explained to you why you can't do X, Y, and Z. But why? You're not explaining it to me. Why? So either it's going in one ear and out the other because she doesn't wanna hear it, she doesn't wanna actually hear the why, or she truly doesn't understand the why, and I need to do a better job of communicating it.
Alright, so this is perfect. I knew if I asked this question, you're gonna say something that would lead back in. Is the information highway and people knowing so much, is that also do you think that is hurting people? As in someone that comes to a trainer and might be like, there are things that you're saying that are like, "Well, that's not how I understand it or how I do it," and there's more of a, like, a butting of the heads where, like, for instance, we talk a lot about, only having 15 or 20 minutes with a doctor, but sometimes I wanna play devil's advocate and be the doctor and say, like, how difficult must it be right now, 2026, to walk in, these rooms? I just asked a physician this recently, what do you think as like someone that's in this profession, and you just hit the nail on the head. If it's not what they kind of want to hear, if it's not exactly, and like I said, kids are going to do the most
Yeah.
basics of things. And I think you just hit on something that I think about all the time. And I see a
But I
lot of
think that
people that
yeah,
family members that
yeah.
suffer from it. They think they're educating themselves and you're like, dude, but you're not a
But
doctor though.
being a
You're
doctor
like, you
doesn't
can
matter. I just wanna throw that out there. It does not matter. It doesn't matter if you're a doctor because I'm telling
see this. You just saying that
yes,
you believe
yes.
that, or you're
No,
saying that's what
I
people
believe
think.
that
That's what people think.
because you
Yeah, that's
look
crazy.
look at diabetes
Crazy.
as an example. Look at
Crazy.
diabetes as the example. What is the fundamental problem of you sitting down with your doctor? One is time, 100%. The other is they're not you. It's condition. Diabetes condition is managed between your doctor's office, between that 15 and 20 minutes that you have 3 or 4 times a year. They don't know your symptoms. They don't know what happened to you yesterday. All they're doing is looking at numbers. And maybe if you're lucky, they're asking you some questions and trying to help navigate what they're seeing from the last couple weeks. But they're not with you 24/7. They're not experiencing the symptoms. They're not experiencing the lows. They're not experiencing the highs. They're not experiencing the roller coasters. They're not experiencing the emotional toll. They're not experiencing none of that shit. So for me to say like, "Oh, I'm going to see a doctor. They should know what they're talking about." No, because the other thing is that endocrinologist, diabetes is one specific entity of what they deal with, a very small one. If you say a doctor has, I'm throwing out numbers. If I say my endocrinologist has 1,000 patients that he sees within the year, type 1 diabetes is probably not even a quarter of that. As an adult endocrinologist, I bet he doesn't have a quarter of his people aren't type 1 diabetics. They're type 2 diabetics. They're people with thyroid disease. They're people with other hormonal stuff. So that's the other piece behind this. You're trying to get educated in all this, get all this information from a doctor who doesn't have tons of real life experiences of actually living with the condition. Some people are really blessed because they have an endocrinologist that is a type 1 diabetic. That's freaking awesome. Think about if we all had that, because that doctor would be super passionate about helping the type 1 diabetic patient because they know what it actually feels like. They know what actually happens in between that 15 or 20-minute window. For me to sit here and say that a doctor is not smarter than you is 100% accurate. They're not smarter than you. And I guarantee if you have an honest conversation with that individual, as I have with my endo now, he should have told me he's not smarter than me. Not because he doesn't know how to deal with the things that that I need him to deal with, prescriptions, get what is this that I've heard about? Can you tell me more about this? I want to come up with a plan with you about going on a Frezza. I want to come up with a plan with you about going on the Ever Since 365 sensor. I want to come up with a plan with you about what's the biggest difference between the Dexcom and the Abbott Libre. Like, we can have those conversations, and for the most part, they're pretty knowledgeable. How do I deal with this insulin pump? What does this number mean? They're pretty knowledgeable about that stuff, but they're not knowledgeable about how your specific blood sugar reacts to exercise, how your specific blood sugar reacts to pizza, how your specific blood sugar reacts to running, how your specific blood sugar reacts to sleep when you have a bunch of insulin on board, how your specific blood sugar reacts to all of the factors. They don't know anything about that. So to sit here and say that they're smarter than us is not an accurate statement. What the reframe needs to be for all of us is that is a tool. My endocrinologist is a tool that I use, just like I use a CGM every single day, just like I use insulin every single day, just like I use a Afrezza every single day, just like I use exercise every single day, just like I use food every single day. That person is a tool. And I promise, once you get out of the mindset that you have to get permission to do something or change something in your management, your whole life is going to change. Your whole entire life will change because you will start giving yourself permission to actually make real decisions in the moment. Even if that decision does not turn out the way you want it to, you're giving yourself permission to make that decision. When you are handcuffed, especially at diagnosis, and I understand why they do it, but I don't agree with it. When at diagnosis, when you have that doctor, especially for young kids, that says, "Oh, I don't want you to change any of your ratios right now. Don't change anything. Don't experiment with anything." It's the wrong attitude, because you are handcuffed based off of a 15-minute window, 20-minute window. You are handcuffed off of that 15 or 20-minute window. That is not enough time to get accurate data to make decisions every single day, 24/7. It's just not. Sorry, that was a long rant, Graham. It irritates me when people
No,
say
hold on.
that.
Because
Yeah,
bro,
go.
hold on. But we don't have I know, but that's 100%. You have to understand though, that is 100% your opinion.
Is it not your opinion that you're not smarter than
Like,
your doctor?
everything. No, bro, you know where I stand. I don't agree with anything you just
How?
said, dude. You
Why?
know
Tell me
that.
one reason.
The
Tell me
only
one
thing,
reason.
hold on. Let me make an analogy. I want to tell you something though that means the most thing to me, and I'll use an iceberg
Mhm.
as an analogy. You said a lot of shit that goes underwater to me, but when it all matters and it came down to the most important point, you said exactly how I feel, and even more so, you said exactly what the physician told me 10 days ago when I asked him, "How difficult is your world now with internet and people's opinions and this and that?" And his answer was, "If I only have 10 minutes with you, I need you to grasp what I'm saying. And if you can't grasp what I'm saying in 10 minutes, it is going to be very difficult for you, because doctors," and this is where I say I disagree, doctors are there to serve humanity. And if you listen to them, absorb what they're saying, and do those basics, then work it into your realm, they can then take the next steps towards making life and humanity better, which they have, which is the whole root of insulin. Bro, like, we wouldn't have insulin if it wasn't people doing cake. Dude, this is medicine. I agree with you in that sense too. Like, there's patient versus doctor, but medicine is case studies. Medicine is people's experience. Medicine is watching how people react to this and that. When I hear serve humanity, I think protect, like military, protect the country. There are people that are like, I'm going to put my mind in the books and I'm going to put it into, their shortcomings. They might not be a leader, but they put their brain towards something that you said it. And that is true. It is a tool. And where I say iceberg analogy, it is the only thing we could do is work together, meet them in the middle, right? Meet them in the middle, work together. Because you are right, dude. There is nothing like, we've had lived experience, Ken. Like, you can't argue that. I think about that all the time, but I've just always been a believer that I know I would follow it. I'd follow a doctor blindly. I'd follow a doctor and a military chief blindly. That's just how I am. I fail to see that people aren't out for your best interest in those two professions or fields.
I got one thing to say, and then we'll end it. And this is going to be my point. And this is going to be the start of a long conversation, and it's just going to kind of start of a long debate between
We always
the
talk about
long
this,
debate
Ken.
between
It's
me,
always
and,
been a
me and
debate.
Graham. Okay, so let me ask you this, and this is a yes or no answer. That's all I need. I just want a yes or no answer.
Okay. Because I know it's
All I want is a yes or no answer. Okay, not an explanation, not your opinion.
Okay,
Yes or no
just do this.
explanation.
Handcuffing me, but that's fine.
Do doctors get kickbacks from medications, from vaccines, from their things that they prescribe to their patients? Do they get kickbacks?
No.
Okay. Hopefully when we come back Wednesday, I'm going to bring tons of stats that says that is completely 100% incorrect. That so many physicians, not everybody, because some of them don't do it. A lot of them get kickbacks from the shit that they prescribe to us.
Okay.
Just saying.
Okay. You asked me a question. I've heard that, but again, this is where we differ.
Okay.
I've never seen
You're
it.
gonna see it. I'll bring some stats next week or so.
You know the best. Hold on, really quick. It's such a stupid analogy, but it has always worked for me. The end of the Santa Claus with Tim Allen. The kid has been hanging out with Scott. The kid believes everybody's like, "You're crazy. He's not really Santa Claus." And he says to the dad, "Have you ever seen $1 million?" No, but you know it exists. Like, and I always think about that. Like, yeah, I've always heard of it.
Okay,
and that. Like,
but
I'm sure it exists, but I don't know.
But again,
whatever.
To what you're saying,
that doesn't change, bro. That doesn't change.
For me, it does.
That doesn't.
And it goes, and not for me of not trusting or believing a doctor. I 100% trust my endocrinologist. But the difference is I wouldn't blindly do what he says because I want my own data, I want my own understanding. I'm not just going to do something regardless of what it is. I'm not going to do something that someone else tells me to do just on their word because there's so many bad things out there. We're not just talking about doctors. We're talking about everybody. We're talking about humanity. There's bad politicians. There's bad doctors. There's bad personal trainers. Like there's bad educators.
You can't like point to yourself and be like, you can be like, you're not.
I'm using personal training as a.
You're like, there's bad. Like you're looking out. You're looking out one.
But so and it all comes back to our original point to this crazy dumb rant that we're on, which is you smarter than your doctor. You 100% are.
No,
yes, you are,
never.
Graham. How? Okay, so
never.
This is the last
You'll
point.
Never be.
Well, this is the last point, and then we'll go.
No,
okay?
On your kickback point, though, I do want to make a point. Teachers should be getting kickbacks. Military shouldn't just have a GI Bill. Military should be getting.
But kickbacks from what?
Like,
kickbacks
it is
from
a
what?
little
because
bit.
I don't think that I should have to pay my tax money.
Doesn't matter. They're like I don't like
to someone else like
I
that.
do.
That's not what this should be.
Well, I do disagree when people are like, well, doctors are really, really, really doing it.
They 100% are. We're not saying that they're not.
Hold on. But I'm just saying, in my opinion, when I walk in the real world, I'm like, but like, what about teachers? Like, what about people that are protecting our country? What about like, dude, the same crossing guards every single morning and every single afternoon are out there religiously, and they're all over to protect the corners.
Most of them are probably volunteers.
Those people should get like, and I know that's like, but it's so funny you said
whatever. But that has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now.
Your question is divisive.
Why is it divisive?
Because
that's not a device. How I just don't understand how it's divisive.
You could have been like
because it's
blah, 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 like that's about
and going back to what you said is like if you've never seen $1 million, how do you know it exists? Right? You just said that you've heard that and you know it's happening, but you've never seen it before. So just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
This is my point. This is your question is the complete opposite.
What do you mean? They don't get kickbacks?
What you're saying is the complete. You just said you have to bring evidence. No, just show me like where it's in the contract.
I'm not going to have a doctor's contract.
They'll be like you could find it. You could just why not?
It's
all myth.
It's not
this
myth,
is all
though.
this is the
myth.
problem that you have is everything becomes speculative if now I'm the smartest.
Okay, so let's go back to the original point and we'll end.
No, if you're you just said
the original point.
Your doctor is not smarter than you. Your doctor is 100% smarter than you. That's what makes them a doctor.
It's not about being a doctor. It's not. It's just not. The reason that I'm smarter than my doctors is because of the handcuffs that are on them. It's not physically I'm smarter than them. It's I'm smarter than them because I can manage my condition without them every single day. That's why I'm smarter. I'm not smarter because I went to school as long as them. I'm not. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is I'm smarter because how I have to manage my condition, they cannot do it. They cannot physically do it. There's not enough time. They don't have.
They know that. That's what makes them smarter.
How
They
is that
know that.
individual more smarter than you if they cannot give you the tools, the resources, and the education? They're not smarter than you. You are smarter between the doctor's
No.
visits.
That's what makes
How
them
does it make
smarter.
them
They
smarter?
can take all these factors.
They don't
Hold
know
on,
how
let me
to deal
answer.
with exercise, with diet, with blood sugar. They don't know how to do that. They don't know how to deal with a faulty CGM. They don't know how to deal with a faulty pump. They don't know how to do that. So in that context, 100%, I am smarter than that individual because I'm smarter at dealing with my own situation. So if they don't know how to do something, if they don't have the time, resources, and the capacity to be able to do something because they are handcuffed by insurance and time, how does that make that individual smarter than me? That's all I'm saying. Yes, that individual is smarter than me in terms of medicine because they went to school for medicine and to treat the sick and to help humanity, 100%. But in terms of dealing with my condition, he, she, they're not smarter than you because they don't deal with it. They cannot help you. And the other 525,400 minutes of the year, they're not with you every single day. So they're not smarter than you. You are 100% smarter at dealing with your own condition and dealing with your own life. Just like a psychologist. A psychologist is not smarter than you. They're just better at listening and giving you the tools to overcome your mental challenges. They're not smarter than you. Your teachers, they're not smarter than you. They just know how to educate you in terms of the policies and the procedures and the curriculum that they're doing. If you knew everything about the curriculum and the policies and the procedures, you could teach yourself that shit. So what I'm saying is, it's not about the individual doctor that you're smarter. You're smarter because you deal with it 24/7 and they don't know how to help you deal with all the little tiny things that dramatically affect your blood sugar. We just talked about it earlier. The fact that they don't have the time and the resources and the capacity to help you lose weight. So what do? Instead of actually trying to give you the resources and the tools to change your actual behavior, they give you a pill or a drug. That's what I'm saying. It's not about me being smarter than the individual. I'm smarter than the doctor because I deal with it every single day and they're not with me 24/7. I hope that makes sense.
No, everything you say is right, Ken.
Right. Oh man.
No, I don't want to go long. You guys don't think we love
totally
each other,
do.
but we
We
do.
just have
Kisses,
different
bro.
opinions about
I
life.
disagree.
And that's
No.
okay.
You're-
That's good.
No.
That's good.
If your entire I'll say this: if what you just said, and I believe it from you, I do believe it from you. But if everybody felt that passionately about that exact point, 100%.
There are a lot of people that feel that passionately about what I'm saying.
But I'm saying, you just said, you made the most point. In terms of the individual, no, without question. But in terms of, I guess my argument would be that they do rise above in the
They
fact
don't rise
because
above. They're
they are
not better
aware
than
of
every other
those
human
things. Okay.
individual.
I'm just
It's
gonna
not
keep
like they're a
going
better
on
human
this.
being.
I know.
They're just
I know,
more
I know.
educated.
It doesn't matter.
I'm more educated than that
I know,
person on
I know, I
fitness
know.
and nutrition. Doctors are the
Yeah.
worst fitness clients. I'm telling you, they're the worst because they think they know everything. They're the worst. And they will 100% admit it because they think they know everything.
All right.
But doesn't mean that they're not a smart individual.
Love you.
They're not a smart doctor. They're freaking smart as hell because they've been educated. But for me, knowledge is power. Just because you have book knowledge doesn't mean that you know how to deal with life. I'm a prime example of that. I have really bad book knowledge,
Yeah.
but I am smart as hell in life nowadays, because I have real world lived experiences. Just like I got in a freaking argument with my dad a couple months ago about academics. And he thinks academics is everything. Academics is how you get into society and do things. If that's the case, why are we seeing a crazy, crazy amount of young people making millions of dollars online? Because they have ingenuity, because they have an entrepreneurial mindset. And a lot of that stuff is bullcrap stuff that I can't believe they can make money on. But it's the simple fact is like you don't have to be a highly educated individual to make it in this world anymore. You just don't. I think it helps, but also I can also say, being 43 years old, there's not hardly anything that I still remember from college learning, from sitting
That's your problem.
in a classroom.
When you said you got
and
in a
reading
fight with
book.
your dad, I figured you was gonna. When you said you got to fight with your dad, I figured it was going to be
No,
about golf.
no, it's not about golf. But
Dude, I literally
oh
got a
god,
wife. My wife slipped me a note. My wife slipped me an internet note. We got to reset the whole modem again, so I got to jump
yeah, you're
off.
good.
Okay.
Thank you everybody for listening.
All right.
We get on these tangents. We didn't really talk about diabetes at all. We got to be better, Graham, about staying on task with with diabetes topics. But this was good. I like the conversations. It gives me and Graham an outlet to even just talk. So I hope you guys are enjoying these conversations. If there's something that you guys want to listen to or hear us talk about, please make sure that you reach out to us. You can reach out to me by email. You can reach out to me on the podcast page on Instagram, on TikTok, you can reach out to me on my business page on Instagram. It all should be in the show notes. So thank you so much for listening, and we will see you guys next time.